What do this Audi RS6 from MTM and a Bugatti Veyron have in common? Exactly, 1001 horsepower. We have arrived at an age where a family estate has as much power as a hypercar. The question is, why the hell? Even a standard RS6 with 600 horsepower is anything but underpowered. Motorentechnik Meyer, or MTM for short, offers 4 different power stages to make the RS6 even more brutal. The power stage 4 has 1001 horsepower. What has MTM done to achieve this? How does it feel to drive on the motorway with 1000 horsepower? And what is possible on the handling course? If you want to know, you have to stay tuned. From the outside, you can hardly see the Performance Estate superpower. New MTM 22-inch wheels, a revised carbon diffuser, and an MTM flap exhaust expose the wolf in sheep's clothing. Coil springs for the standard air suspension make the RS6 even more agile. It's 0.8 seconds faster to 100 kilometers an hour than in the standard version, and even 3.8 seconds faster to 200 kilometers per hour. In addition to changes to the engine control unit, a turbo kit with new intake technology and the exhaust system provide for the rich increase in power. More on that later. The Recaro Podium full carbon bucket seats seem like a foreign body in the otherwise luxurious interior, but show the ambitions quite clearly. I want to go to the racetrack. We don't have a racetrack at hand, but we do have the Audi handling course here at our disposal. And we have a racing driver with us. Florian Gruber will accompany us here today. Hello, it's nice that you're here. You know the track here quite well? I know the track very well. We are always on the road here with our salespeople, service advisors who are trained here. They get the opportunity to put the new models through their paces here. And that's exactly what I want to do here with the RS6. I've already driven it a bit in the city, but you can just tell that there's a lot more potential in the car. And today you're going to show me the limits of the car. That means you're going to jump in the driver's seat and show me something. Yep. And then I'll get back behind the wheel. We summarize again. We have 1001 horsepower and 1250 Newton meters and all-wheel drive. Now I'm curious to see what you do with it. It all looks so cramped in here.
Yes, it's not without its problems. But we have good Michelin tyres, and they can take it well.
How much does the chassis add that you can drive through here like this?
Yes, you do notice that the chassis is much firmer than in the series. What is normally so head-heavy can be reduced here.
Where do you notice the difference to the normal RS6? That it has more power? More horsepower, more torque?
Because I'm much faster between the curves than usual. Of course, here on the straight. As a driver, you don't have time to look at the speedo, because everything is so ultra-fast. Faster, stronger, louder. MTM has been rebuilding cars near Ingolstadt according to this basic idea since 1990. Initially mainly Audi, today they modify everything from the VW group. And for good customers, they also restore Benzes. Or a VW T2 built in Brazil is converted into a racing bus. Roland Meyer is founder and managing director. The idea of MTM as a tuner or developer actually came from the Treser company. That was my first boss after graduating. And that was the only one who made Audis on a grand scale back then. I then went from Trese to Audi for 4 years in engine testing and had a great job. Yes, and then I said, now I want to do what I like. Then I went into business for myself. Then I got a re-employment contract at Audi in case I wanted to go back. And then I started with MTM. I started with a 20-valve turbo engine, which I knew from Audi. And then I made control units for other companies. Because at that time there was actually no one who knew how to program. However, reprogramming the control unit is no longer sufficient for a 400 horsepower increase, as in the RS6. New hardware is needed. Let's start with the turbochargers. That's the most important thing for the power increase. So we have a bigger rotor in there. The casing stayed the same, but they're re-spindled. We have a bigger compressor wheel in there. We have milled that out. We then have a special intake for the big superchargers. Let's stay with the air intake. We have a special air filter upper part, made of carbon of course, so that there is something for the eye in the engine compartment. And inside we have an air filter with more flow. A few companies have already copied this part off us, but it makes a huge difference because much more air goes into the intake. So that's practically our direction. Then we have bigger catalytic converters. Then there's a 300-cell cat in there. There's the insulation. So we thermo-insulate that so we get the heat away from the engine. Then we use different boost pressure sensors, special MTM parts. And then we had special spark plugs built that have a colder heat value. The gasket can no longer be compressed. And we have good experience with that. Then we now have a carbon air duct for the large intercoolers at the front, especially for hot countries or generally high temperatures. This is of course very useful. And these are the large intercoolers. They're a bit deeper in terms of size and are also aerodynamically streamlined, they say. We also install our own exhaust system with the flap between the right and left. We can control the sound a bit more. Or what is also currently in fashion, the Okrapovich titanium system. A handful of components that make an impressive impact in practice. This may be a guess, but we have an RS6 with 600 horsepower in the basic version. That's super, that's a lot. The thing is super fast. Why do you add another 400 horsepower on top of that? Yes, a bit more is always possible. You know that with all other cars. I always like to have more power. The cars can handle it. Engine, gearbox, no problems. This isn't the first conversion they've done here. It works. That's the beauty of it.
Do you think we'll ever get a drift or a donut with this car?
I assume that we will be able to do that. Once you get it across,
Very good. Then it's also easy to control.
look how it smokes there.
Very cool.
Whew. So as you see,
The rubber is done.
you can leave a lot of rubber.
I'm done too. But it was super fun. Thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure.
After a short break, I take a seat in there.
The RS6 already has a tradition at MTM as the most popular tuning offering. On the first RS6 of the C5 generation from 2002, the team increased the power by 85 horsepower to 535. Motorvision test driver Tim Schreck ploughed through the snow with the power estate. Whoa, that's got some guts. The C6 Club Sport had 150 horsepower on top, and the C7 Club Sport 177 horsepower. Today it's the turn of the RS6 C8 from MTM with 400 extra horsepower. After the briefing by the professional racing driver, we are now allowed into the adult playground.
Now I want to drive a bit myself. I've already driven around with the car, but I haven't felt the 1000 horsepower yet because I've only driven in the city so far. Drive select, let's see. Is it already in dynamic mode? No, let's set it to dynamic. The sound adapts directly. Let's turn off ESC. ESC off. So now we have a bit of fun. It's really cool on the road. I'm probably also one of those who has the same prejudice. Audi, all-wheel drive. It's probably more likely to understeer. But no, it's really firm in the bends. This is fun. I can't concentrate on talking at all. I have to keep reminding myself that I'm driving a family car. With an RS6, you can go on holiday with your wife and children in a super relaxed way. And you can take it to the racetrack and beat it around the bends. A private handling course and an estate car with more power than boot space, it doesn't take much more to be happy. Madness! When you first start driving, it feels quite normal. Not very exciting at all. But as soon as it builds up torque, and the turbos have built up enough boost pressure, then you notice the difference. Then it really goes forward. But there is one thing you can't test on the small course: the top speed. Woo! Madness! But before it's back on public roads, new tyres are needed. So we roll onto the German Autobahn. Means no speed limits. A normal RS6 has a top speed of 250 kilometers an hour, which can be raised to 305 kilometers an hour. This limit has been lifted here, and it can do at least 350. We're at 130. Let's floor it, shall we? That's 200. 250, and it's still pushing. That's insane. And 300 kilometers an hour. Out of the blue. Like it's nothing. And you're driving here at 270, and it feels like you're in another car at 170. You completely lose the sense of speed in here. We're still over 200. It feels like 120 right now, like I'm cruising along so easy. This is madness. Let's have a quick look at the figures. A normal RS6 needs 3.6 seconds from 0 to 100. This one takes 0.8 seconds off that. That means we reach 100 in 2.8 seconds. Which is a level where hypercars stand. Bang, 200 again. It's so fast. You look out of the window, look ahead again. Oh, 200. And then that back there,
da hinten.
you shift down and... Oh man.
Mann, ey.
The abundance of power in the RS6 means that the thrust is not diminished even beyond 200 kilometers per hour. We switch to the country road to listen once again to the sounds of the MTM flap exhaust system.
Ich habe echt schlechtes Gewissen teilweise.
I feel really guilty about driving around with the flap open. Then the most beautiful thing is when you downshift.
Oh mein Gott, ey, das ist
That's not normal. Not normal, but still legal, because the exhaust system is registered.
When it comes to high speeds, the RS6 from MTM is a force. But what about acceleration from a standstill? Does it manage the sensational figure of 2.8 seconds to 100?
Gas. And 100.
Geht doch.
There you go, it works. 2.7 seconds. Awesome. It's rated at 2.8 seconds. 2.8 seconds. In the normal RS6 it's 3.6 seconds and we managed 2.7.
The initial turbo lag is noticeable, but hardly worth mentioning. 2.7 seconds to 100 kilometers an hour, as fast as a 900 kilo lighter McLaren Senna. The performance of the MTM RS6 is impressive in every respect.
Why does a family estate need 1001 horsepower? This RS6 is built to compete with cars from a completely different league, either on the track day or in a drag race. With this one, you can really challenge genuine sports cars. And who wouldn't want to do that? To put a Porsche GT3 in your pocket on a track while the kids are taking a nap in the back seat. And it's also something for the flex, to be able to say at the regulars table, 1001 horsepower, and now you.